I'm so excited because this is the beginning of the episode of Spoonful of AI. I'm Carlos, and today I have with me Farplane.
Yo,
Yo, what's up?
not much.
Not
Just
much. We're just
just
working,
starting the day.
just starting the day in the evening. Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw your YouTube video and I was like, I got to get this guy on the show. I'm talking about AI. I'm talking about all the new things you can do with it. And this guy is doing all the stuff with it, including like just covering all the new stuff that's coming out. So I think, for us, I like talking about how people use AI in their business. And there's like so many different businesses using it right now. But at the same time, there's so many people covering it. So I think that's another cool angle to be on the show where like, AI is your job. Like it's part of your whole, it is your channel right now, Farplane
Mhm.
AI, which people should check out. But yeah, so how did you like fall into AI? It's obviously everywhere, but you were telling me before the show that you've done music, you've done a lot of other creative stuff. But like, what was like the aha moment? You're like, oh, I really gotta like do this AI stuff.
You ever heard Datab Bots? DADABOTS,
I
Datab Bots.
haven't.
It was like, God, I can't remember when it came up. It was like 2016 or 2017. And like you mentioned, I'm a musician, I'm a composer, and that's what I've done my whole life, like for decades. And so this is really early generative AI music where this team of people trained an AI model on an Archspire record. It's like a death metal band, and they have a YouTube stream, and I think it's still up there, but they've been doing this YouTube stream since the late 2010s. That's just constantly streaming generative music based on that album, and it's like
Wow.
super complex death metal, and it works, especially with like the early technology. It wouldn't work with pop music. It wouldn't work with anything like that. It only works with like complicated technical progressive metal
Hmm.
because that music is already, disjunct and always changing up, and has weird proportions and weird timing and all this stuff.
Hmm.
So when the AI does it, it just worked. But it fascinated me so much because I'm already just really into super complex things. I love classical music and progressive rock, progressive metal, all of that stuff. I studied, I got a degree in music. In my brain, I just love really complicated things. The video games I play are really complicated, etc. So, and as a composer, always being interested in like new things, and someone like anyone that can make new sounds or just like throw my brain for a loop, I just love it.
Hmm.
So when I heard this music that's like super super complicated, and it just keeps going, and it messes with you in such a way that like after about a minute or two, most people like probably wouldn't even be able to handle listening to it for more than 10 seconds. But if you get like 2 minutes in, your brain starts to realize like, wait a minute, I'm hearing a band play, but humans couldn't possibly have memorized that long of a string of
Yeah.
data. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Like
there's
days.
there's some kind of like, dissonance going on between these two things. And it just like, I loved the way it tweaked me out. And
That's interesting.
that's when I said, like, man, I want to do what they're doing. I want to be able to train an AI to generate stuff, just to experiment with like what can be done that no human has done before or been able to do. And since then I've like, I only had like one friend who is really tech savvy. He's the one that builds my PCs and everything. And he's like, yeah, you should be able to do it. He's like, I'll build you a new PC with Linux. And, just like he's throwing out the terminology. I'm like, dude, I have no clue. Like, I need you to help me. But like, it never came together. And then finally, what was it, 2022 that Chat GPT came out?
Hmm.
Something like that, really recently. And that was, the introduction to like the consumer can now use these tools.
Right. Right. Right.
And Chat GPT is still just mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
Um, and then I unfortunately wasn't dabbling with like stable diffusion and all that like a year or two ago. Like, but since people have been doing it, I didn't wrap my head around it or know about it. But I've like when I heard that AI music I also really wanted to do AI video, but I'm like, man, there's no way we're anywhere near being able to make video. That's how much data and how advanced of a platform do we need for that. So this year changed everything. Like we are in a new era. Like
Yes.
2024 is a new era
Isn't that funny that it's
because
just this year too? Like, I mean, all the
mhm,
things you talked about have been going along for a couple years, but like
mhm.
this year is where, and I'll talk about a little bit of my history as well. I like really took off when it comes to like my creation because, to your point, like all the stuff started coming online like now.
And this stuff that's accessible to the average person.
Yeah.
So we have like Udio and Suno for AI music. That's groundbreaking. And it's spitting out like, I don't know if you heard my AI album. I made a progressive metal album.
I started
And
to listen to it. It sounds really yummy. I love that kind of music too. So
it's blowing me away. I'm going to talk about it more in some like video content on my channel, but it's like blurring the boundaries between artist and fan, right? Because someone who was only a fan before can now make like really awesome sounding music, or someone who is already an artist can make it and kind of be a fan of it because the AI is generating the surface details of the music, so you're surprised by it, and that's
yeah.
what's so fun about it.
By the way, that's a huge point that we bring up on the show a lot is that kind of like working with and alongside AI, right? Just like Suno's amazing. I did a whole like mini EP just because it's so good. And like to you, like your point, it can pull off these things that you go, how did it do that? But it's still taking my input, right? So it's still taking my artistry or my ideas, and it's like, and you're still editing it, right? So at the end of the day, if you don't like this part, and I do things in Premiere, so I'll bring things in Premiere, including the music, and I'll just chop it up. So you're still doing stuff to it, but I think Suno just allowed for this, like, yeah, this really powerful extension. And so on the show a lot, we talk about all these apps and tools helping us as creators kind of do more, right? So I think the average
Exactly.
person is getting better at this and understanding it, but the average person used to just be like, oh, you're just having AI do everything for you. But everything that
Yeah.
we're going to talk about on the show today and that I've talked about before is multiple tools. It's your mind, it's your ideas, and so that's
hmm
still part of it. And so for music, yeah, that's like a great way to get in, I think.
Yeah, and it's like for the AI is theft crowd and the people that are so against it. Like I like the first song I made for my album. It was the song that's 15 minutes long because I wanted to push Udio to its limit, and that's its limit. I wanted to see what I could do, and um, I'm there making my artistic decisions that are based on decades of being a composer. Like those decisions are going into it.
Yep.
Uh, and like I said, like it's generating the surface of the music, but I'm controlling the middle ground layers, the background layers. So it's just a new art form. I think it should just be considered as a new category.
Oh yeah,
And
and I think that's
and,
basically what's happening.
and then so we have AI video now, and like it might have come up last year. I don't know, but what's crazy to me is how far we've come since July. like
July. Yeah, we're talking months. Yeah.
like I'm about to make a little short. I like if you saw I can make Chris Farley because he's my favorite
That might have
comedian.
been
So
why I saw your video. I think it was Chris Farley,
okay,
the thumbnail.
nice.
It got it.
So I want to make a little comparison, like AI now, like AI in late 2024 versus not even early 2024, but mid 2024, and it's just like I have a mini max like of Chris Farley like getting out of a cop car, and the car he's like, and the car bursts into flames, and it looks just perfectly real.
Yeah.
And then I have a Luma version of it, and not to diss Luma, but they're just not up to speed with Kling and Minimax. And like the Luma version, like it just distorts and like
You should send me both of those so I could put them in the video of this show.
okay,
Yeah, that'd be funny. I think what I'm hearing is that you got in for music, but at the same time, and like we alluded to earlier, you're doing YouTube channel that's kind of covering a lot of this stuff as well. How I found you basically on YouTube with Chris Farley video, and
Mhm.
so like part of your workflow is not just it's for fun, obviously, and creation with music, but it's now part of your daily routine. I'm guessing, and you mentioned ChatGPT. Are there any other tools besides ChatGPT, I mean, the list could be long, but that actually not help you create, but that you think like help you like on a day to day basis, like just to be a YouTuber or something?
Um.
Kind of a
So,
sidebar question.
oh well, I can just tell you what tools I'm using. AI in general. It's pretty much just like all of my time is spent either making music, images, or video, because that's what I want to be. I want to like I said, I've been a musician and composer my whole life. But if I were a teenager when this came out, maybe I would have gone a different path because I'm now what I call a full media artist. Like I'm assaulting all of your senses except for, touch and taste and,
Yeah, but you
and
can.
smell.
There's an
But
aroma thing that's out coming out.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh god. It's going to get so crazy. We're going to have like VR, like we're going to
you're just gonna be plugged in, and we're gonna experience all the things and decide to be outside of the matrix or in it. But that's for another podcast.
yeah. So, yeah, so that's what I spend my time doing and like I said, like I'm at it every day. And I'm up until way too late. And every night I'm like, "Ugh, I gotta go to bed because I have to go to bed. Like I
Yeah,
still
yeah,
wanna, I'm not done with this project. Or, you know, last night I pushed myself extra hard because I really wanted to get another YouTube commentary video up because I feel like I'm not getting enough of them up. Which is another thing. I'm trying to find this balance between being this creator and like creating like you see like the shorts content where it's like my creations, like my music and my video. But then there's the commentary, which I feel is a cool way to help give exposure to what I'm doing.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
I
just
think
finding more and more that I'm not the like some of those YouTubers that are really big. They're more of like the tech industry expert YouTuber, whereas I'm more of like the creator artist that is also reviewing. So
which we need.
just got to find that balance.
Yeah, well, which we need though, because like I think we need a lot of like I watch probably every. I'm like you. I absorb tons of content and make tons of content, and don't know how to stop. And I watch every single AI like weekly update video, and I'm friends with a bunch of the people now, but at the same time, like there's that aspect, and then there's people like and they're all great, so there's no shade being thrown, but there's people who like are covering it to your point actually, and they can do testing on it, and then there's people who are creators, a real like who have done it, like even a friend of mine on the show, Gavin, whatever, he's been working in the industry of entertainment for like years and years and years. So like if he's going to do a test, like it's going to be something based on like his experience of creating content, or someone who's doing it right now, like you and me and other people. It's just I think that's a different kind of take. So I think it's important for you to do that thing. On the idea of balance, though, I always tell people just go where the energy's happening and don't think of a quota, because you think of a quota, it becomes work, and you think you're like behind. Don't do that. Just try to find
Mhm.
what you when you get inspired and do it. Like today, I did a new AI based comedy sketch video. Haven't done them in a long time because I just was didn't have anything. I was like writer's block, and I not to go too far into it, but during the pandemic, I was kind of viral with sketches, and it was no AI. It was just me in a green screen. But that was because I was inspired at the moment, right? And I think that the audience understood that inspiration, and that's kind of a global statement about art, where like they're like, "Oh, this guy's really into what he's doing," and then it took off. And so then just recently with AI, I'm like, "Oh, I could do sketches with that. That might be a new inspiration." So I put one up today, and it's doing well. You know, there's the thing.
Sweet. I'd like to check it out.
Yeah, I'll let you. It's Starbucks. I go back to Starbucks a lot because that's the main thing I do every day is just go there to get my coffee. And
Hmm.
I think that there's a lot of comedy because, well, I haven't said this in the show, but I'll say this real quick to you and then also to the audience. But like Starbucks just represents the every person, because like you go there, everybody goes there, and we all have this kind of shared experience, and we all know the person in front of us who's being like difficult, or we're the difficult person, or the barista's difficult. But like there's this kind of like it could be McDonald's, it could be a lot of other services, and I think that is a kind of fun microcosm to play with.
Oh,
But anyways, enough about me.
mhm.
Let's talk about AI and tech. I want to talk to you specifically about some deep dive about software. I have three pet peeves that I want to talk to you about. They're not pet peeves with you, but about tech and about AI.
Okay.
But in general, I've seen you break down a lot of the image creators. I use, in my opinion, it's the best on the market and has been for years, or at least a year and a half, is Ideogram. Have you messed with it?
Oh no, I haven't.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'll give you an affiliate link after this, not to
Oh,
be
cool.
just so you can get some free credits. But it is unbelievable because a lot of AI tools keep getting in quotes better with fidelity. Because I just saw you talk about Flux and Flux Pro. Is it
Yeah,
1.1?
man. Flux is Flux is king. I just
It's
can't. I
crazy.
can't imagine anything being better right now. It's
Well,
so
I'll
ridiculous.
explain. I want to have a
Okay.
conversation with you about it. I saw your biomechanical people. Very good.
Hmm.
Very good. And I love that you took the time to just have a little bit of a break in the video to just show the, salacious things that could be done with it.
Hmm.
Is that the word?
Yeah, it's just like I was watching it back. I always watch the video right after I post it, and like I'm just like, oh my god! Like, am I like looking at a real video? Like, I forgot that I even made it with AI. It looks so freaking real. Like,
Yeah. And that's
and
because of Minimax too, right?
it's surreal. It's these like, it might serve biomechanical beach babes. And
Yeah.
they're these like really beautiful women, but they actually have bionic arms and stuff and it looks real. Like what? Like I can't believe where we're at. It's insane.
Yeah, I think what I wanted to bring up with that because those looked awesome, and I'm doing a lot of similar things. Minimax and Ideogram is my preferred combo, and I've
Okay.
been using both of them since they came out. So I was using Minimax when I had to give a phone number and like to
Mm,
China, so China has all my
yeah.
information. And
Right.
Ideogram, I think, was last year when I V1, was using it. But what I wanted to bring up is we all have our tools that we like, but what is kind of a frustration, and I want to get your take on it because using it every single second of the day as well. I see the new tools. I see the Hugging Faces, the GitHubs, which for the people who don't know, it's just like repositories of where you can get the source material to run these programs either on the
Hmm.
cloud or on your own computer. And then there's things like Replicate and Kriya who like aggregate a lot of these tools together, but to me,
Hmm.
it feels like we're just in such a like jumping through hoops gray area where in the very near future, we won't need to use all these different things like downloading stuff and jumping through hoops. Am I right? Like I feel like we're just stuck in the middle.
You mean like a platform that just lets you do it all in one place?
Yeah, I just feel like ubiquitous like HTML or something, or something that just works, right? Like, will there be other companies, multiple companies that, of course, give you different ways to do things? Yes, but I just feel like there's so many um, avenues, and they all kind of either do different things, which is fun, but I just want to get to the end. Like I'm selfishly want to get to the end game.
I I recently saw some platforms. One of them I covered, and it's like okay, it creates like kind of like the pre-edited viral shorts content.
Oh, Pika.
Um, no, not Pika
Oh,
is the one with all the cool effects. It was
yeah.
aivideo.com is what it's called,
Oh, okay.
and it's like okay, but like you ever see those like History Channel style shorts content,
Oh, I've
like
seen that software. Yeah, it just like puts the subtitles or does audio on top of it too.
and it like animates like Napoleon something something and like it has like the whole thing put together for you with transitions and everything. So
Yeah.
that's like getting there. I saw another one that someone reviewed and I cannot remember what it's called, but it like has a whole storyboard interface and
Hmm.
does all of like what we have to do separately, like you said, like for example, if I want to make a film short, I'm gonna generate the images first. Then I'm gonna animate those images with Minimax or Kling or something. Then I can use Kling or Runway to lip sync dialogue. 11 Labs to generate the speech,
Exactly.
and then bring it back into Kling or Runway to do that, and then like, uh, um, you know, UDO for the music, and then my own video editing software to put it all together, which is pretty cool because then it's like it definitely takes a human to do it,
Right, right.
But yeah, having all that automated, and absolutely, people are working on this, it's coming. And because I had this idea, and even though I had the idea, and it's like, oh, this is like a $1 billion idea, but I can't implement it. And it would be like a platform called like My Film or My Movie or something. And it would automate all of those steps. And you would like kind of like just like prompt an entire script or idea, or maybe even have like a language model like ChatGPT that helps you generate the whole
Of
script
course. Yeah. I mean,
and then puts it together. It sounds crazy, but with the rate that everything is developing, I bet it's just around the corner,
I don't think it's crazy because did you see the Minecraft thing where they made Minecraft in AI?
I think so.
So basically, AI can simulate with bugs and some problems the 3D environment of Minecraft, and it's procedural and it's minute by minute, just or second by second, like creating it with AI. So there's no rendering, there's no game engine, there's no nothing. It's just like when you walk, it's making the game. So if that's already here, yes, that's why I'm saying I feel like the end game is a few companies, maybe not great for competition, will probably have this ability where we just type in either a game or a movie or a song, and we'll be able to do a lot. All these kind of tools will kind of come together and coalesce. So it's a kind of
Mhm.
double-edged sword because Meta has been working on it, and a bunch of companies have these things behind closed doors. If they come out with like the ultimate one that does it all, it's again bad for competition, but for creators like me, I just want to get at it. I'm just like so tired of like having to do what you did. By the way, you described it perfectly. And I think the first time on the show, you just like casually explained how you and I both make stuff. And that was like 8 tools.
Yeah.
And, and like it's laborious. Like I want to just get at it.
Yeah. I kind of like the whole craft, but yeah, it's quite a bit. It's so time consuming. Like I said earlier, I just run out of time every night.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. Well, at
just
the end of the day,
and I
like,
have like 4 more hours in the day every day.
yeah, you'd get some sleep time back, and sleep's important.
Yeah,
Um, but I think, yeah, for the creative brain, I just feel like that's my only thing right now is that I like that I'm part of it. And I think the human will always be part of it. But at the same time, I just want it to be like less steps because, to get to my thing. My pet peeve was just kind of simply, I'm going to simplify it right now for time. Um, the one thing is censorship, which is kind of tricky. Um, we don't want terrible things out there in the world, and as they always say, bad actors or something. But at the same
yeah,
time, it's such an also in between gray area where things that I know for a fact aren't really shouldn't be censored are being censored, and
yeah,
you watch the AI create it, and you can see the outline of what it's about to be, and you're like, that's fine, like that's fine. And then sometimes I'm pushing the envelope. I push the envelope. I try, but I just feel like that area is weird, isn't it? Right now.
yeah. It's like you say, it's very double edged because these companies they don't want people using their platform to do something bad, you know, or like harmful. And then what ends up happening is like a lot of times the censorship is just overbearing. Um, if you've used Replicate to make images,
Hmm.
uh, images come up rejected very often, and you didn't even ask for anything not safe for work. But it's like, oh, cool, I got to run this generation again. Like it made something bad, and then it censored it,
It's
or
censoring itself.
or it poisoned the image, and there's some weird like you know there's just something weird that doesn't belong, and it's like, oh, that kind of looks like a you know I didn't ask for that, but so I don't know what the solution is here. um
Yeah,
but
you're.
I've seen some content out there that's crazy. Like, have you seen like these edits like come up on Reddit, like where it's like Biden, Putin, Trump, like all of these people are in the and like they have handguns and they're just like doing
Yeah,
drugs and
I mean, I
like so
get.
people are running local, like running programs locally, you know.
Yeah.
to do that, designing Laura's and all this stuff. Like,
Oh, Laura's is another topic, but we'll say that for another
yeah.
show because
Uh,
that's a big thing. I think to your point about like yeah, like the weird stuff that is I don't want to call it dangerous, but just like problematic, let's say. A lot of times because we're in that gray area, we can tell the difference. I mean, yeah, things are very realistic, but there's still that kind of offness to what we're making that, people can be like, okay, I get it. You can get a great still moment image and you're like, oh, that could be a photo. Yeah. But you have somebody doing some crazy problematic stuff. You're like, well, that probably didn't happen. And, we can kind of suss through that as the tools get better and the video gets better. Yeah, that might be our problem down the road. But
mhm,
um, I think, yeah, every episode we like to bring up also just one new tool. I think what was in the news a lot recently was Act One from Runway,
mhm,
which is the kind of facial detection and doing, lip syncing in a kind of a better way. I messed with it. It wasn't amazing. I was like
mhm.
expecting it to be really good. It was very easy, but you put like it next to Hedra, whatever, and a couple other ones that are doing it. It's
Mhm.
similar, right? Have you messed with that?
I just you saw that I covered the runway feature, like
Oh,
with
that's
Chris
right, you did.
Farley,
Yeah.
but that's the only one I've tried.
Okay. Yeah, they're like it's again that thing. It's in between. It's like to your point. Also, is like it is a lot of human interaction because when I did it, I was like, oh my goodness, I have to act.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is tiring. There's a lot of me.
yeah, but I'm almost done with that. Like I kind of want to like set up a room where I can like do full like motions, so I can control video to video. Like I want some crazy surreal looking character, like some of the monsters or whatever that I make.
Yeah.
But I want something that's obviously like it can't be real but looks real, but like doing like certain dance moves like to to the music I'm making, or like I want people to see it and just be like, "What? Am I what?" Have you seen people have done this with like the dancing leaf, or I just saw one
Yeah.
today that was
Dancing spaghetti.
so, yeah, yeah. So, people are using like comfy UI and using like all sorts of like video tools to do that. That's really cool. Did I lose the thread? I'm sorry.
No, 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 no. I
What were
think
we talking
we're talking about like wanting to create with Act One and different things that like kind of do motion capture. And so you're on the point with motion
Oh, yeah,
capture.
motion capture. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
and I would say this that like as I'm doing the sketch that I'll show you after this after the podcast, I'll send it to you. Is it was Runway's video to video. Now there is very few, if not they might be the only game in town right now that's doing video to video at the high level that Runway's doing it. Where,
Mm,
as you'll see in a minute, I live in this teeny little like economy room. It's not even a studio, and there's like no good lighting, and it's a teeny place, right? Dark. And I shot this sketch today on my phone on a plastic tripod that's really crappy and no light, bad lighting, and at one angle, like didn't even change the background, no
mhm.
green screen. And I put it in a Runway, and it's like fantastic. I'm at a coffee shop. I'm two different characters. It's nuts. So I think
Nice.
to your point of like wanting to do like, because Act One and a couple things where they're just doing your head, everything else is static. So
Yeah,
the
yeah,
real beauty is like just shooting straight video. Back to our reoccurring thought on this podcast, us, the humans having to do it. And yeah, you should do it too, like a whole room of something, move things around, put a blanket on you, be a monster, and then put
yeah,
that in a Runway's video to video.
yep. Yeah, and I'm like dying for Kling or Minimax to introduce that feature, and I'm dying for Minimax to introduce the lip syncing feature because I love Kling. Actually, Kling is probably my favorite, and all of my shorts that you see, all of that stuff is Kling, and I think Kling is better than Minimax with that surreal stuff. Um, and Minimax is better with like making it look like a Hollywood film.
Yeah, humans. It
So,
was trained on CW, I think I found out.
oh, wait,
Minimax.
what's that?
Minimax, I think, was trained on CW because I was in the early beta, and we would get. I think this is can be public knowledge. Well, maybe I should just leave it there. But because both of us probably use a lot of tools that are like NDA'd. So I'll say that I was in early access of Minimax, and they're very good at humans. I'll just say that.
Hmm.
I think they're
Yeah.
trained primarily on that. Um, and I'm wondering if Kling then was trained on monsters.
Kling is great with humans though too. Like my biomechanical beach
Oh,
models
they were
was
over there. Okay,
it's
yeah,
drastically better than Runway, and I feel bad because Runway is really good, really powerful, but it just can't touch Minimax and Kling.
it
So
can't.
I'm
No, no.
excited. I have faith that they will get better. Uh, with all of these, I'm curious like what Luma does next.
Yeah.
Luma's still good for some things. Like I love doing graphic interpolations with Luma. Um,
Well, that goes back to that
and
specialization thing, right? Like, didn't was it Vidu? I think Vidu,
yeah, I've heard of Vidu.
just came out with a character consistency 1.5. Now,
Mm,
one of the holy grails, and we're really in the nerdy element of AI right now, but one of the holy grails for AI creators is consistent characters. And you can do that kind of with images right now. It's harder to do with video, almost impossible. And Vidu came out of nowhere, who'd been around for a while with 1.0, and no one they were using it, but and then
mhm,
now they're the ones, the first ones to pull it off. I've tried it. It works ish, but that's to the point of like each one of these companies are specializing. So kind of to go back on my earlier point of like, let's just have one company do it all. It's cool
mhm.
when you have like people fighting to make new stuff happen.
Yeah. On the other hand, it kind of makes sense the way we have it because, uh, like, let's say Kling makes amazing video, but don't use it to generate image. They have an image generator too, but I've never touched it once because why would I when I can use Flux?
Yeah.
And then like all of these, the video platforms and music platforms, they all have language capabilities. Like they understand what you mean when you type in the text prompt, but nowhere near the level of ChatGPT or one of the other like LLMs.
Yeah.
Every every one of them excels in their own. It'd be crazy to have all of them in one, but it's not definitely not impossible. Especially like I said earlier, like with the rate things are developing. Like this year is just wild.
Well, the rate, and also remember, this is the business and industry that has the most money being thrown at it right now. Like we are in the
Hmm.
biggest bubble for it, and so I guess what I've seen happen in the tech world, and this is the tech world, but in like old school tech, is that companies just buy up other companies. So when it comes to
Mm.
Meta's new
Oh,
glasses
they
and
start
stuff,
merging.
they just Meta might just be like, okay, Minimax. Well, not Minimax because they're Chinese company, but like the non-Chinese companies could just be acquired, right? So the smaller companies of the world, and then hopefully they keep those teams going and innovating, and that would be the hope. Um, but because we brought it up a bunch, Minimax and Indiogram, I think, are the best. There's a case can be made for Flux, and I always see Midjourney in like comparison videos, and I'm like, bro, just put ideogram in there because in my opinion, I've used it enough that it's better. Um,
Cool.
and Flux
I
is
gotta check it
is
out.
incredible. But
Yeah, and it, like Flux was already incredible, and then you saw my most recent video on the Ultra version,
yes,
and didn't know my mind could be blown again. Like, I mean, like I say in the video, I've been using Flux Dev because you can control it more and use LoRa's and whatnot, um, and it just takes more effort on the user's part. But
yeah.
but like Ultra, just you click that raw button and prompt it, and oh my god, like
It's
if you
nuts.
haven't yet, check out my video on Flux Ultra.
Check it out. We'll put all the links in the show notes for sure. Yeah, I think it's great, man, to talk with you about just not just nerding out about AI in the industry, but like being a YouTuber. I think in right now with AI, it's super important. I think of it as not just entertainment, but like super educational, and it is like bringing people through to the next place. When it comes to like where we're going, is to make it sound grandiose, as like a human race. Like we're going to this next spot. And so yeah, I like the fact that you and a bunch of people are making these videos. I think it's really helpful and good.
It, and I'm sure you're the same. I want to be on the cutting edge of that. You know what I mean? I don't want to I want to be up on that. You know what I mean?
It's the new
And I want to
industry.
educate people. I
Yeah.
want to educate people. Like, look at this image. Like, just so you know, just so you're not fooled. Like, look, I made this with AI, and like, yeah, look, the hands are perfect. The lettering is perfect. Usually, those are the giveaways.
Yeah.
Like, but here, let's zoom in here. You see how this proportion isn't quite right, you know? Or you see this lamppost, like, why does it have this thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and trying to, like, and also, like, my whole thing is like I said before, this should be treated as a new category. So, like, AI music shouldn't be judged alongside, real music, whatever you want to call it. But that you should be transparent and upfront that it was made with AI instead of what's happening. Like, way too much is like people wake up and they say, I want to be deceptive today. And just
Mm,
log into Facebook and you'll see what I mean. Like, it's just like,
right.
what? I'll look at a post and it's like, my neighbor, like something said this. So, it's like Halloween. It's like, so like we egged their car and it's like this image and like the eggs are all like eggs covering a car and all of the eggs are full eggs and they have weird foam around them and the license plate is all wrong. I'm just like, dude, what do you like?
Yeah.
It bothers me so bad. Like you woke up today and said, I'm going to be deceptive. Like that's your whole gimmick. So that's
That
why I put AI in my name. Like
right.
you
Yeah.
see it, I'm going to put the AI tag on like my socials. I don't do it on YouTube. I'll say why in a second, but yeah, Instagram, TikTok, I flag it as AI. I just want to be upfront. Like this is what I'm doing, and I want to see what I can do with this. Like how I can, like you mentioned before, like how I can, how we can take things to the next level with it,
Hmm.
and releasing music where the artist name is Farplane AI. Like there's no, if there's any question about it, like trying to be as direct as possible.
Yeah.
Why I don't do it on YouTube is because I looked it up and I'm pretty sure the YouTube setting that where you flag it as AI is only if it's something that could deceive people. I
Right. Yeah.
think,
I think that's what it is too. Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why they have that. So I never click it because I'm already being super upfront.
Yeah. 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 And I think that's a great point. Like, I mean, with technology, there's always going to be people who do bad things with technology because that's what it does, right? Like Photoshop came out and immediately we had people, doing bad things with Photoshop. So it's just another one of the tools, and humans should be cool humans,
Hmm.
and yeah. But this has been fun, man. I'm excited to see more of your videos. Everybody should check it out at Farplane AI. Did I say it right this time? What did I say last
Yeah,
time?
yeah. Far plane. Like you ever played Final Fantasy X?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the far plane is where you go when you die.
Nice.
And I just always loved that. I played that game when it came out in 2001, I think it was. And I've always loved that name ever since then. So it's been like 20 years
That's
of
a long
like
time.
using Farplane as a handle, here and there. And then I started my gaming channel actually started in like 2017 or something, but I was just uploading gameplay of a game I was playing called Mobius Final Fantasy. There was like a mobile gotcha game and they had done a crossover with Final Fantasy X and I always loved Farplane, so I called my channel Farplane. Then 2022, I started doing this, like the talking head thing on my
Hmm.
gaming channel. And then slowly built that up to like got monetized and everything and kind of like waned a bit after like my main game uh, got shut down, like I was mentioning before. And then, yeah, that led me to make the AI channel and just kind of kept the name
It's an
since I was
evolution.
already a little bit known on YouTube as Farplane, so I just kept it.
So, Farplane, thanks for being here. It's been awesome. And you should come back on the show and we talk AI more and music.
Anytime.
Let's do
Thanks
it.
for having me.
Thanks for being here. Now let's go listen to some metal music.
Let's do it.